Hey, just before we get started, this is a conspiracy, paranormal, and true crime podcast.
The nature of this podcast is gory, unsettling, and definitely vulgar.
And we curse a lot.
Like a lot.
So be advised
that this is our season 3 debut, bitches.
So pour that shit up. Yo, and welcome back to Creeps and Crimes
Podcast.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Morgan. And this is our first episode of season 3, Creepy Account Volume 15.
Oh my Lord.
Happy season 3, guys.
Happy season 3. It's finally here. I'm so glad that you guys get to hear all of the little secrets now that we've
been hoarding,
running around with.
It's been driving us nuts.
Oh my God.
Being able to tell anybody,
especially with Patreon, because we're like, we tell you guys everything. Yeah, and so we've been having to lie to your fucking faces. Yeah. We don't like doing that. So this is going to be a longer intro for you guys who don't like our intros. So go ahead and skip through. But we're fucking excited, and we came excited. we're excited, and we came to celebrate with our 19 Crimes Cali Gold Snoop edition. Are you kidding?
I know. And if you're not on YouTube, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Jinx, but also what are you doing? Get on there right now. To see the new set in action. Yeah. It's so beautiful. It's so sleek. It's iconic. It's not even chaotic because it's put together. It's iconic.
The first time. Now,
first time in our lives.
No, we kind of lied to them right there. No, it is put together from what you can see.
Yeah, don't look behind you.
Don't look behind you, and don't look behind us directly.
Let's actually hold this.
So yeah, we have had the best day ever.
It
is currently a week before this comes out, and we
just 24th, Sunday the 24th.
Yes, and we just shot our very first ever trailer video for the podcast.
Guys, it was so much fun.
It was so fun.
I lack confidence in that department, but David, who we worked with,
oh my God,
he was godsend. He was like pumping me up. He's like, bring out your inner Lizzo. I'm like, how did you know we love Lizzo?
How did you know that?
Have you been studying
that was literally our anthem, was any Lizzo song ever. So yeah, his name is David Parasau, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. But he recorded that entire video, which he's tagged in it, and so is his editor, Nate, who we also worked with. And funny enough, I actually went to high school with both of them.
Which is such a small world.
It is such a small world. And so he came and filmed that video for us. First off, the shots that what we have seen so far, because we haven't seen the final put together. You guys
have no idea what it looks like.
In like the current time, you guys are going to be seeing it before us. But the shots that we saw,
we're so excited.
Stop. And then also, are you like looking at your phone? Did you like just look at it? Just like look down a little bit.
Just like peek down. Just one little glance.
How do you like the logo?
How do you like that action?
Okay, so
how do you like them apples, baby?
How do you like those apples, bitch? So I know we told you that we weren't going to change the logo.
Remember, we were like, this one's it. This one's here to stay. Wrong. It was chaotic.
It was too
and while
chaotic.
that is our motto, chaotic but iconic, because our lives are chaotic. They'll never not be chaotic.
They'll never not.
But the logo needs to be
iconic,
like, and not chaotic.
If you were looking through the charts and you saw that, or you're looking through like recommended podcasts to you and you saw that, when you
baby,
stopped in your tracks, like
I'm hitting that podcast you're like, up. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are these two interrogators that are holding wine? Okay, I'll take it.
You're telling me these girls talk about aliens? What?
No, actually, that is the president and the vice president of the United States of America.
Yeah, that's us. We are President Fetzner and VP Mounts Future Harris.
That is so funny. That's hilarious. So yeah, basically we're the presidents of the Creeps and Crimes Club.
We're the CEOs. We actually are.
Yeah, we are, but in real life we truly are. So
legally
we have to be. But we're so glad to have you guys with us. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with us. I hope you guys got as emotional as we did in our season 2 sign-off.
I feel like I could cry right now.
I know.
And that's another thing about David, guys. He was so like hyping us up in a way. Like, you guys, I love working with you because you are out here creating your own original content and you're flourishing in that business. And it was just so like reassuring to hear those. It was exactly what we needed to hear today.
Oh, guys, you have no idea. We've talked about the rut we've been in, and technically it's not even season 3 yet for us. So
we're still really overwhelmed with stuff that we have to do.
Yes, but what he said today, like, I'm totally ready and willing.
No one's ever said that to us before.
And I think it's because we've never worked with someone who has done what we have done.
Yeah.
You know? So it's really like it was so touching to hear it, but also from someone who does have a successful business of original content like he does. Just go look at his Instagram. Like, go click on the tag in that video. Just go look. Because it is, I mean, every shot on there is just amazing.
And he does weddings.
Yeah, and he does weddings. Only his friends, though.
Only me.
Not you guys. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
Anyway, speaking of original content this season, let's tell them about it.
Okay.
So we have a lot of changes going on. Mostly for our Patreon. We love our OG Pick Me call. They are, as you know, pick me's like us. We have influenced them badly.
We've really
we're
done
like,
a number
you want
on
to be conceited pick me? Okay, follow these steps. 1, 2, 3. How to be a pick me. We should do that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
No. Anyway, so here's what's going on with Patreon. We will be adding weekly episodes.
Did you hear
to
that?
you guys? Did you hear the word weekly?
And you're like, why were they so overwhelmed? Oh, that's why.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
And they're like, do they need to take a break from mental health? Maybe, possibly, but we're like, pound it on, like, let's do it.
What's good about these weekly episodes, we're not going to give you too much, but it's not our typical content,
right?
But it's going to mimic a lot of it, but also add in a little bit more variety of what you can get from us, because in reality, we love creeps and crimes. Like, of course we do. We literally have a podcast called Creeps and Crimes, and we talk about
baby.
Literally our child. So we love that stuff, but there's also a lot of other things that we're super like into, and we wanted to use Patreon, as they see that a lot more often, to give them some weekly episodes and us get to channel a different side of us that can help our creative juices flowing. Yeah, you're our guinea pigs. Of course you are, but it's going to be so fun. And also, the only way to access that is by accessing our new tier on Patreon. And with that tier, you get 3 bonus episodes each freaking month, in addition to your weekly.
Yeah.
So
right,
yeah. In addition to the 2 regular bonus
that they already get
an extra.
So
one.
if you're a Patreon now and you were to upgrade, you would get 3 extras, right?
Yep, 3 extras and a weekly episode from us.
Yeah.
Wow, we like so did a deal for y'all. Like, that was pretty iconic. Not at all chaotic.
Yeah, it's gonna be super dope. So we're super excited for Patreon to experience that. Patreon, we're gonna be posting more details about that.
Yes.
You'll actually see those because it's the first now. So we'll have those details out for you.
It's on Patreon 25.
And for you guys, our public general audience out there that we also love.
We
so
love.
You guys will be getting an extra monthly
episode
at the end of the month.
Like how our creepy accounts come out
on the 5th.
Yep.
These bad boys are coming out at the end of the month.
On the last Friday of every month, I think is what we've decided. Do we know what the name of this is yet?
We're bouncing a few ideas around in our big empty brains.
We've gotten it down to 2.
Our creativity has stopped flowing.
Our creativity was like, pull the brakes. That was enough. That was enough.
Yeah.
So we're bouncing back a few ideas about it, and that will be here soon. It will come out, like I said, on the last Friday of every single month. But what is it? I'm sure you're like dying to know. Unfortunately, it is not another creepy account, even though we know you would love that. But we're afraid that if we did that, you would not send in enough to have enough
for life.
Period. So we decided that we wanted to add something in that Morgan really loves and we talk about often, and something that could give you guys a whole different side of us, but also very much creepy and crimey. So whatever the name of it is, in the beginning of every month on the Creepy account, we are going to be giving you a creepy and a crimey show or book or movie that we will binge the entire month. And then at the end of the month, Morgan and I will go through and like talk about every single episode and piece of it that we want to.
Our thoughts, how we felt.
In detail.
Like critic reactions, like stuff like that.
We'll see what people on social media are saying and how people feel about it. And so the ones for this month, Morgan, what's your creeps?
My creeps is Devil in Ohio, which you guys have already heard me talk a little bit about. So be prepared for that. I had nightmares for 2. I'm actually still having nightmares, but I've had nightmares for 2 weeks since. But I've already watched it. I'll probably rewatch it again by the time we record that, which good God bless me, please.
Yes.
And yeah, so if you want to tune in to the end of this October's, whatever it's called, show, we don't know yet. It's going to be Devil in Ohio for my creepy segment. And Taylor, your crime.
And for my crimey, we're going to be watching Dahmer. So I know a lot of you guys.
A lot of criticism.
Yes, I know a lot of you guys have already watched it and you've asked us to actually cover Dahmer, which I don't think I have.
No, you haven't?
I haven't because I really, I don't love it.
Tough, yeah.
It's one of the harder cases for me to even fathom covering. But I thought this would be a good segue into us, you know, even talking about it. Even if I eventually covered it within November, we can do that. So this month I'm going to be Dahmer, and mainly because there's so many. I haven't watched it yet. Neither of you, right?
No, I haven't.
We've been holding off, and I know a lot of you guys have, like we said, but we wanted to make sure everybody knew because there's going to be a lot of spoilers.
Yeah, we don't want to give any spoilers out.
Right.
So make sure you're watching it with us or have watched it already if you're going to tune into that end of the month episode.
Right. And we'll discuss the massive criticism that's going on with it. And we wanted it to be topical too. So that gives us a good month, you know, to be able to know what's going on and what's like top and that, you know, are easy for you guys to watch. So yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So what else do we have for them? I'm just so excited.
Yeah, we're just so excited. We are thanking you guys times a million, sending you all the biggest hugs for tuning in with us on season 3 and still being here with us. Especially our people from the very beginning. We love you. We never thought we'd be here. So
oh my God.
On that note, let's get fucking creepy.
Oh my, Morgan, these stories are the best. I think
I haven't seen them yet.
Morgan hasn't seen them yet. I went through and I picked out the best. And typically we don't do that. Typically we just pull.
Yeah.
I went through and I at least like browsed the first half of the majority of them.
Yeah.
Been like, okay, this is it.
This is the one.
And I saved the creepiest, the spookiest, the scariest
for this month.
This month at some point.
Yeah.
At some point, you'll be getting a super creepy one. So if you want to be involved, I only found 3 that were super, super spooky that made me scared. So if you have until the end of this month, okay, to send us the scariest effing creepy accounts that you have, like ones that you don't even want to talk about. Yeah. Send them in anonymously. Because
get it out.
This is the month to do it. It's spooky season.
Yeah.
It's spooky season.
And it might feel good to get it off your chest.
Yeah.
And let someone
let us take it for you. I'll bring the stage.
Yeah.
Let us take that burden. You guys have taken so many burdens for us. Like, honest to God, creepy accounts are the least that you could do. Like, are the least that we could do for you.
It's the least that you could do is send one. I'm just kidding. No, it's the least that we could do. Really.
No, yeah, truly, to take those off your chest.
And maybe even like help you through it.
Yeah. To be able to like
if it calls for that.
Give you some, you know, advice on it. Unfortunately, guys, we did not bring Susan on this time. We just had too much back to back to back, and we didn't know when this one was going to be able to be recorded, so we didn't want to nail her down. So maybe
But speaking of Susan, guys, she got us the cutest little sign. It's a coffin.
Yes.
She had it. What's it say?
It says stay creepy.
Stay creepy. And it's so cute.
It's so cute.
We just love her.
Oh, and also, guys, you guys have been literally changing Susan's life with the business that you're giving her. I mean, Alaska, the UK, Australia.
She just had her first Knoxville.
Oh my, her first Knoxville. And you know who you are because you also know who Morgan is.
We met.
We met.
That's smart.
Not me, but I feel like I did. So yeah, we're just so thankful that you guys are loving on Susan as much as we do. And every single one of you guys that have sat down with Susan or done a phone call with Susan have just been like, holy shit. Yeah. Like I think y'all don't understand until you experience it yourself. When I tell you, like, Susan's abilities are just beyond anything I've ever imagined in my life. And she's just amazing. So if you guys want to see Susan for a reading, a cleansing, a healing session, she is absolutely available to you guys. All of her information is always in our creepy account show notes. So go check her out. And I think we're ready to hit them with it.
If you're driving, throw that shit on cruise control.
If you've got a glass, pour that shit up.
And let's get creepy. The first one we have today is from D, using pronouns she, her. The title is so odd because Morgan said the same exact thing. Hello, my name is D. My creepy account is super short. We'll call it a mini D.
A mini.
I have so many, but this one is not long at all. The Bible John episode you just did felt like deja vu to me. I told my sister, who introduced me to your podcast, that I know I've heard Taylor tell that story. I remember the stockings, the woman being on their period, his red hair, etc. She tried to convince me that I'd heard it on Crime Junkies, but I knew I heard it in Taylor's voice. And do you want to know the really creepy part? I even remember the DNA, RNA discussion, and when you asked about it being acid. Am I crazy? Have you told this before? Anyway, I have so many experiences that I absolutely could share if you'd like. Hope you have a great day. Okay, so for those that don't know, I literally, we took out a part that I was like.
I took out the big part of it.
Yeah, I was like, no, I've heard this before.
Yeah. So Morgan's like, I'm sorry, this feels like deja vu to me. After that, we actually had a longer conversation that was off mic or on mic, and I took it out because it was fucking stupid. Yeah. Y'all didn't need to hear it. But it was basically Morgan and I having the discussion of Morgan being like, Taylor, you need to double check that you haven't covered this because I'm positive you have. Like, she was convinced, and it scared the shit out of me. So we went back through all of our episodes. I'm talking Patreon, I'm talking regular. And I was like, I have not covered this before.
It was nowhere.
It was nowhere. And the entire episode, Morgan was like, I'm having crazy deja vu.
So D, I think that maybe me and you switched like universes together, like timelines. Like we just jumped over and we know that the other one, Taylor covered that.
Yeah, 100%. But also what's so crazy is that was the same week that I was convinced I had covered the Ellen Greenberg case.
Yeah.
That was the same week. And many of you guys, when I talked about it on our Instagram, were like, no, you've covered that before, Taylor. 100% you have covered it.
Yeah, and you never did.
I never did. And I was convinced that I did.
Dude. Glitch in the Matrix.
Glitch in the Matrix.
Solar flare.
Okay, so this next one is from Megan, using she, her pronouns. Hey girls, can I start off by saying how embarrassed I am to have binged almost 100 Creeps and Crimes episodes in less than a month. LOL.
Oh my God,
don't be embarrassed. Are you kidding? That's iconic. And not at all chaotic.
We love that.
We love that.
We love when you do that.
I'm truly obsessed and absolutely love what you're doing. Keep that shit up. Oh, we absolutely will.
Absolutely.
I'm writing in because I sent in a creepy account that I was hoping would make it into the September creepy account episode, but it didn't. Womp, womp. Womp, womp. Sorry, we're the fucking worst.
I know,
to be honest.
We're fucking rude.
We're awful. So I wanted to submit it again, but along with a crimey account that has just happened to me since my last submission.
Oh, shit.
Oh, fuck. Because I'm pretty sure your podcast might have saved my life.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I love that. Okay.
I love that.
I'm ready.
I'll start with my crimey account since it's the freshest encounter and I'm still shaking. Some backstory. I binge your podcast everywhere. In the car, while I'm doing house chores, at the gym, you name it. And doing this has sort of brought on what I call a form of healthy paranoia out of me. Well, the other night I'm leaving the gym and I'm feeling extra spooked out by Creepy Accounts Volume 13. Although I usually try to remember to always check the backseat of my car before opening the doors, sometimes I just forget. Bad, I know. It's okay. We all do it.
Yeah, me too.
Well, this specific night, I didn't forget, thanks to my new healthy paranoia. And thank God, because there was a literal man laying down in the backseat of my fucking car.
No, shut up.
Needless to say, I booked it back into the gym and called 911. To shorten the story, the man was sleeping and clearly either drunk or drugged out when police arrived and woke him up out of my car. He claimed that he didn't know why he was in there and just kept mumbling, saying that he was tired before they cuffed him and put him back into the back of the cop car, where he immediately passed out again. I'm in the midst of waiting for a follow-up call, but from what I know, there was no sign of forced entry into my car. He didn't steal anything and had no weapons on him. So though there's suspicion that he was really just messed up on whatever he was on and found an open car to sleep it off in, it could have absolutely ended horribly had I gotten in and drove off without checking the back seat. Foul play intended or not.
True.
So moral of the story, healthy paranoia. Brought on by you two goofballs, love you though, might have absolutely saved my life. Send me a bill, please.
Megan.
Okay, first off, I have chills.
Me too. And you know what? I'm always like...
I'm really honored to have saved your life.
Yeah. Although it was your like own self.
It was your own healthy paranoia.
Like, and yeah, you're
your intuition.
We will send you the bill. It's going to be $10.
It's actually going to be... free.
And I know, I'm kidding.
It's gonna be negative $10. Actually, we owe you $10 for, upping our ego.
Yeah. That we'll be billing ourselves.
We'll be billing ourselves for that. Thank you.
But no, seriously. And you know what? I always do try, same with her. I always try to check the back seat of my car, but there's so many times I forget and I'm just driving off and I'm like, if you're in the back seat of my fucking, but you can't turn around, right? You can't take your ass off the road. You're like, if you're in the back seat of my fucking car, you better just jump right the fuck out. I got a gun. And you're like, who are you talking to? Nobody.
Nobody's. Well, you know what sometimes I'll do is I'll grab my phone and I'll put it on the camera and I'll stick it behind me in the back seat and I'll just
that's
clip
terrifying.
A bunch.
No.
Well, I'm trying to just clip a a bunch and I'll pull it in front of me and be like, oh, there's no one back there. We're Gucci.
I know, but what if there was a face like,
bitch, I would throw the car and park so fast. I would jump the fuck out.
I'd be jumping without throwing the car.
Literally, I'd be like, crash the car.
Crash the car.
It's done.
Who cares?
It's done.
That's nuts, man. I'm so glad you're okay.
I'm
you're
so glad
absolutely
you're okay.
right. It could have ended bad.
It could have ended
foul play intended or
right.
not.
Because like, what if he would have woken up and been like, what the fuck? And like gone crazy, especially if he was on drugs or like, you know, drunk as fuck. You know, when you wake up drunk as fuck, you don't know.
I'd be like, did you fucking kidnap me?
Yeah. Update was me and Morgan in the back of your car.
Megan gets charged with kidnapping. No, I'm just kidding. That's really scary.
I'm glad you're okay.
Okay, so the second part, Megan's part 2, is her sleep paralysis story. She says, okay, creepy encounter. Like a decent percentage of your listeners, I've suffered with sleep paralysis all of my life, or so that's what I thought. I'm still not 100% sure. My experiences would come in the form of me waking up in the middle of the night to see what I thought was the shadow of a woman peering around the frame of my bedroom door, watching me.
Nope.
Only to quickly disappear as I started to register what I was seeing. I knew it wasn't my mother because she looked nothing like her, and it was the same woman every time. She looked as if she had blondish hair, either in curlers or pinned back, and by her silhouette, like she wore a dark dress or a long robe. I associated her presence with sleep paralysis because my mother also suffers from sleep paralysis. And I always had this sensation of physical numbness and strange, sad feeling of dread when the woman appeared. Once I was old and brave enough to investigate, and once the numbness would dissolve from my body, I had attempted following her into the hallway, but it was always empty. You're brave.
You're so brave.
Fast forward to my early 20s. I had a job nannying 3 small kids aged 1 through 5 and was watching them for a long weekend while their parents were away on vacation. In the process of trying to bribe the middle child into a bath, I told her to jump on my back for a piggyback ride upstairs. She quickly and very sternly said, I can't. And when I asked her why, she said, because of the lady holding your head.
No.
I can't even read the rest.
No.
Oh my God.
Simply wrong.
Chills are shooting from my toes to my forehead.
Yeah, forehead chills.
She says, this absolutely gave me the chills, but I thought she was just being an imaginative, excuse-making 3-year-old. Later that night, while trying to get the kids to settle down before bed, the middle child, who was usually very cuddly, refused to sit next to me.
What?
I asked her why, and she said, that lady is on you. Creeped out, I asked, what lady? And she said, the lady holding you like this, as she gripped a handful of her hair at the back of her head.
Shut up.
I don't want to read the rest of this. For some reason, I felt a vague sense of familiarity at her comment and asked her what the lady looked like, and she said she had light brown hair and all of her curls were piled on top of her head. So obviously, my sleep was fucked that weekend.
Yeah.
A few days later, I had told my mom what happened. Her eyes got wide and she laughed, but strangely, almost fearfully, as she told me how I had come into her room at night a few times as a little kid, complaining about a lady who kept pulling my hair. At the time, she thought I was just dreaming or making excuses to sleep in her room, but now I'm not so sure. Now in my early 30s, I rarely experience what I believed was sleep paralysis or whatever it was. And I haven't seen the woman in a very long time. But I have a baby daughter now, and a few times when she cries in the middle of the night, and as soon as I enter her room, I get that same sad feeling of overwhelming dread. And the back of my head feels tense and prickly, as if my hair is being pulled. Sorry this was so long. I would love your theories and would die figuratively if you read my story in your October episode, especially as a reminder to everyone to keep feeding their healthy paranoia with your episodes. It could be life-saving. Love you guys. Megan.
Okay, Megan.
Megan, that story is absolutely terrifying.
No, the back of my neck has the chills that you're talking about. The hair standing up.
I feel like someone's ripping my hair out of my scalp right now.
I need a wax off my neck.
I don't think that was sleep paralysis.
No, it's not. But I don't know that it's a dark entity for it to be. It's kind of.
It would be more dreadful. I think if it was darker, like you would feel more dread constantly in your life. You'd feel drained. You'd feel, not empty.
And for it to be
like
like going on this long without draining you to the point, which obviously we don't know you're in the entirety of the story and like how you feel after and around it. But I don't know that it's like all negative. Like Morgan had a spirit that was with her and we were fucking terrified by it.
Yeah.
And we would literally it would do the same thing. We would be nervous.
Okay. She wouldn't do the same thing. She would not pull my hair.
Yeah,
but she would play around.
But what if it's not that she's pulling your hair? What if she's trying to fix your hair? Like, what if she's trying to pull it up or braid it?
Like a motherly figure.
Yeah, like a motherly figure. Like someone.
And at nighttime, she was just checking in on you when you were sleeping.
Just checking on you. And it doesn't have to be someone that's in your life. It could be someone that you picked up along the way and they, you reminded them of their daughter or their child. And now they're like watching over your daughter. If you want to look at it in a good light, that's a good way to look at it.
But to get some answers, Megan, I'm going to very sternly direct you to Susan.
Yeah, I'm going to basically tell you have no choice but to go to Susan because I will use your email and send it to her.
Yeah, because I would love for her to give you the answers, and she will.
She will in a heartbeat. She'll be like, "Oh, yep, this is this."
Yeah.
Do you want her to leave or do you want to keep her? That's what she'll say. You want her to leave? You want her to keep her?
Wow, thank you, Megan. That was nuts.
First off, both of those. I love a good. I love the way
I
you
love
said
a good
it.
creeps and crimes.
Me too. I love a good creeps and crimes. But I love the way that you also used it as a message. Also, please don't figuratively die. Because we read it. We would love to keep you around. You know, like,
we would love for you to keep listening. To November's creepy account.
Yes, and we definitely need a follow up if you get read by Susan about what this entity woman spirit is.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for sending that in. The next one that we have is from Sage, using she, her pronouns, and this is a creepy cat story.
Shut up. Oh my God.
I'm so glad you guys, we actually have a ton of creepy cat stories.
Creepy craps. We love creepy craps.
Creepy craps.
Creepy craps and craps.
Is this Callie Gold Snoop Dogg line getting to us or what? Have we not?
I love Snoop Dogg. My eyes just rolled into the back of my head.
Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby.
my eyes literally just rolled into the back of my head. I love Snoop.
Okay. Hey, ladies, I'm going to add a disclaimer that I am using talk to text because I have poor time management and keep forgetting to send you this email. So I'm going to say it into my phone while I'm driving and hope that I don't sound drunk. It is on cruise control, though. Of course it is. Where else would it be?
Cruise.
Yeah, cruise.
Cruise set to 85 if you need.
CNC cruise control. Absolutely. The amount of creepy accounts that I have to send you ladies is ridiculous. But let's start with the creepy cats because honestly, cats say less. Anywho, I lived in Kentucky for 10 years. Go Cats. I worked, trained, managed.
Go Vols. How dare you?
Where's the barrel, bitch? It's currently with you guys.
No, we have it.
Did they win last year?
No, we won last year.
Oh, okay, just kidding. We have it, and we're gonna keep it.
And we'll keep it this year.
Why am I acting like a big Vols fan right now?
Because we love the
Florida. Vols. Are you kidding me? Okay, so I worked, trained, and managed horses for a lot of that time, and what comes commonly with horses are barn cats. Now, the first farm that I worked at was a historical site. And when I tell you I stepped foot on that farm for the first time and I felt it in my soul, I did not leave for 8 years.
Wow.
That farm is still with me spiritually. And even though I'm 1,000 miles away in New Hampshire, that farm still visits me in my dreams. There is a huge cave system that runs underneath the farm, and you could feel the temperature changes in the different areas. Sorry, I'm rambling. Let's get to the cats. So in Kentucky, barn cats choose you. As they should. All cats should choose you. Now, granted, I went and got my cats, but like, I wish they would have chosen me because they definitely did not choose me. They chose Logan after I went and got their asses. Anyways, family drama. You don't typically go choose your barn cats. They just show up. We had 3 different barns on this property. The back barn was an old tobacco barn, and most of the cats showed up to that one. Whether it was a coincidence from the neighboring farm or not, I believe that there was something spiritual in this barn. We always had this male orange cat that would just show up, and he would always show up when you were alone in the barn. I did not like being alone in that barn though, so I always went and took care of that barn first thing in the morning so I didn't have to deal with it throughout the day. We tended to put our stall rest horses, sick horses, or quarantine horses in that barn. Unfortunately, with having this as a quarantine barn, it did experience some loss when it comes to the horses and unfortunately the cats as well. That was always the barn where things happened. Oh. It was always the barn that if something traumatic had happened, I always imagined it had happened there. Actually, I did get double barrel kicked and flipped over by a horse there, but I'm fine. Are you fine?
Shit.
Ow. I'm glad you're okay.
I bet you broke some
That's
stuff.
really dangerous.
Really bad.
That's why I don't fuck with horses. My husband's family is a big They have horses. My sister-in-law literally did shows and rode them. My mom was a barrel racer. And I'm like, I won't get on one. I'm so scared of them. Except for my mother-in-law did force me one time for family pictures. That's the best picture ever.
Really cool pictures.
Yeah, those are good pictures. Anyways,
my favorite pictures actually,
because I look like this. I'm frozen on top of this horse.
No, when she sent me them, I said, "I'm sorry."
What are you doing
you?
on the horse, Taylor? Okay. So she said, sorry again, I am rambling. So we are too, don't worry. So the cats would always be very shadow-like to you when you were in there and ignore you on the rest of the property. Like you would turn around and almost step on a cat, or they would just randomly scatter. Like you would turn around because you felt something weird, and then when you look, all of the cats are scattering like roaches. And when I say all of the cats, we don't have like 100 there. There were just like 3 or 4. But a lot of them visited from elsewhere, which I also thought was weird. Honestly, I didn't think anyone else could see the orange cat for a while, but it turns out I was just the only one that was in that barn most of the time. We also had these twin cats that we called the Shining Twins because they showed up in that barn together all the time. But unfortunately, one of them did die in a tragic accident, and the other cat was like a zombie afterwards. It was incredibly sad, and we actually made that one a house cat because it was just off the walls traumatized. It would make noise like it was summoning demons even before its sibling died. They would always sit on this concrete pad that we had in the barn, and I always had it in my mind that there was either an old well or just straight up bodies underneath this. I'm pretty sure the cats knew, as they would always sit exactly where the cave systems ran, because you could feel the coldness when you were over top an open cavern.
You know what they say about Kentucky caves?
Right. Lead to the center of the earth.
Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve. They would sit there over the coldness, and they would walk around the farm as if they were following the cave lines, which I also thought was interesting and odd. Wow. That is really cool.
Wow, yeah.
That's really awesome. All right, Morgan, next one for you.
Oh, wait, I want to talk about that.
Okay,
so,
go ahead.
Real quickly, Georgia or Luke, if you're listening to this is Aaron's cousin and his fiance. So Aaron lives in a farmhouse. Their house is new, though. It was built probably 10 years ago. But their barn is very old. They're multiple barns. They're very, very old structurally. And right across the street, like I'm talking like 50, 75 yards, is his cousin Luke's farm. And Luke's farmhouse is very old. I don't know the date it was built, but I would say early 1900s if I had to guess. Wow. And they've remodeled it, so it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous farmhouse, but they also have barns. And what's so interesting to me is that all of the wild cats that turn into barn cats go to Luke's farm.
Really?
And I wonder if it is this spiritual connection because they say his house is haunted. They have experiences and stories about Luke's farmhouse because it's haunted.
Oh my God.
But Aaron's is 75 yards across the street, more barn space, probably not occupied with, because they actually have barn animals. Aaron just has cows. They have barn animals in the barn. So it's interesting that the cats are more drawn there, where there's bigger, larger animals when cats get spooked of everything.
Right.
But it's got to be the spiritual connection to the house.
Yeah, it fully has to be. And also, like, another thing about cats that I wanted to mention in the beginning of this episode, but I totally forgot it was creepy cats until we were in the middle of this one.
Yeah.
Is that I was watching this documentary that's on Netflix, and it talks about different animals and their sensations and what makes them, basically who they are and act the way that they do. And I've always known this about cats, but cats have whiskers not only in front of their face, in their ears, and in their paws.
Really?
And on top of all of this, their whiskers act as kind of like how dolphins communicate, where they listen to the frequencies, feel the frequencies that come back to them to figure out how far or close something is away.
Yeah.
So obviously that's how whiskers work. So if a cat gets really fat, like Mila, her whiskers are huge and super long, but when she loses weight, they get shorter. Now Nona's have always stayed the same because she's always staying the same weight, even since she was a kitten.
Right.
So anyways, what I was reading about this is that with this technology, the sensation that they have in their bodies, is they detect signals or energy flow through all ground, which is how they can find their ways back home always, because they know what the vibration feels like where they started or where they left. And that's why cats are like amazing at tracking themselves back to places, even if they're gone for months. I mean, you think you hear stories about cats are gone for 9 months and they just show the fuck back up. Yeah. But yeah, that's how it happens.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like seeing a view from underground, and every single time they're creating this like path that's like wired into their head.
So then it would make sense that if there was somewhere that did have a different energy field, they would be attracted to it and they would want to go to it.
Yeah, and that also is interesting about the Kentucky cave system, because people say that they're, it's a guide to the hollow earth. People, or conspiracy theorists say it goes to the hollow earth. They say that reptilians or some sort of like, not necessarily reptilians, but some sort of extraterrestrial race lives in them. And that's just really interesting to me. But also, question, do you have access to, did this farm have access to the caves? Like, could you get in the caves and walk around? Because if that's the case, send us the address and we'll meet you there next week.
Yeah, we'll be there. See you there.
See you there.
Okay. Yeah. Let us know immediately. Okay. Immediately, Sage.
That was a great story.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So this is the next part, and it's Sage part 2. And it says New England scary ass house. I guess while I'm at it and rambling, I'll add in my other creepy accounts. So my favorite thing in life is creepy houses in the daytime, because fuck that at night. Growing up, I lived in the middle of nowhere, but there is a small town across the highway. This is in New Hampshire, not Kentucky. And I ran a small ice cream shop while I was in high school in that town. Okay, me too, girl.
Oh my God.
One of the girls that worked for me grew up in one of the houses over there. Let's call her Melissa. I walked into her house and was stopped in my tracks by the energy. I've never looked into my spiritual side, but I always felt some sort of way about places I go. And I know when I'm supposed to be there and when I'm not. When I tell you this house didn't want anyone in it, I mean the family built an addition onto this house and mostly stayed in the addition.
Wow.
So fast forward, me and this girl become pretty good friends. And like all high schoolers do when parents are out of town, we would invite our boyfriends and friends over, just have a good time, potentially drinking and whatnot.
Right.
So I had been in this house a few times, and I was like not a big drinker in high school. I would sip on one and dump it into the sink to make it look like I was cool. But in reality, I was a dork and responsible, because I am to this day the mom friend.
Oh my God, me.
Yeah.
Sage, me.
So me and my boyfriend at the time were sleeping on the living room floor, as high schoolers do, with one of his friends on the couch next to us and my friend who lives there on the other couch, because she didn't even want to sleep in her bedroom. Well, that night I woke up in the middle of the night to see someone rubbing circles on my back. Ooh. Like how you would soothe a child while they're going to sleep. And me, being a hopeless romantic that I am, thought, oh, how sweet, it's my boyfriend. Well, that would be me.
Yeah.
Well, we all know where this is going because it's a creepy account. He had rolled all the way across the living room, and I was laying in the middle of the living room, not in arm's reach of anybody.
Are you dating my husband in high school?
But oddly, I'm comforted. Because I was very uncomfortable and nervous about being in that house, because I felt unwelcome by the house itself. So the next morning, I asked my friend about it, and she goes, oh yeah, that's our dining room ghost. She's really nice, but my sister pisses her off sometimes. When I tell you, my heart fell out of my butt. I don't know what kind of feeling that is, but I was like, I have no words still. Obviously, I have no words because I'm talking to text and I'm stuttering right now. So rewind to the first time I went to her house. She has this hallway that literally the entire family avoids, that goes from the kitchen next to the stairway and then through a door to the living room, or you can go up the stairs. This is an old New England, rich, old money type of house that's now even older. Also, there are a lot of doors to different rooms because of heat conservation in the winter. Well, even before we went upstairs, my friend told me that she didn't like sleeping in her room. And most nights, she slept down in the living room. She must have been comforted by that ghost.
Yeah.
So we went upstairs to her room because we're in high school and we're, trying on clothes and just being girls, right? When I noticed a door behind her, and immediately I got nauseous.
Oh, shit.
I asked her, hey, what was that door? And she goes, oh, we don't go in that room. When I tell you it had the largest, oldest padlock you can think of on it, think antique shop style with a skeleton key padlock.
Ooh.
She told me the 2 times that anyone had been in that room, they could not stay in it for more than 30 seconds. Shit. And they couldn't take any of the old furniture out of it without getting stuck at the doorway.
What?
But the most disturbing thing is the guttural demon voice that she heard the last time she went in there. If you haven't guessed this already, that was the last time I stepped foot in her room. From the outside, the room with the padlock on it is like an outside patio looking thing on the second floor, like with an overlook. So you could see the neighborhood, but it's screened in because it's New England and the weather is only good for about 5 minutes. It honestly looked like it would be amazing if there wasn't a demon living in there. I often drive by that road and try to peek down at the house, but I don't even want to drive by the house itself because I'm afraid with what I know now that something will remember me and attach itself or something. The other scary thing about this is it's 2 houses down from a church, and I don't know why that sticks out to me, but I feel like there is something to that.
Ooh, that is really interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
I hate it.
I also hate
I hate that room.
But I do find it odd. Not odd, but like, I do know why your friend didn't sleep in her room and slept downstairs. And it was because she was getting comforted. Maybe not in like a rubbing circles on the back, but like that spirit was probably protecting her and comforting her, and that's the only place she felt safe.
Right, like going to battle for her.
Yeah.
Especially because with that room being attached, the demonic room being attached to her room.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine like there's no good energy that can allow you to sleep peacefully.
And it was so close to her bedroom.
Oh my God.
And her just knowing that in her subconscious, she's like probably like trying to sleep in there every night. She's like, I can't do it, Mom. Like, I have to go down to the living room.
You know, the other day I found a blanket in my closet in my bedroom. And you know what blanket I'm talking about. But this blanket's from someone that we no longer speak with and has some really like negative ties to it. And I had no idea I had this. I don't know why the fuck it's in my house. I don't remember taking it. In fact, I remember us throwing it away.
Me too. I remember looking at the blanket ladder and throwing things away.
And throwing it away. And I found it in the bottom of my closet. And I didn't even tell you because that's how scarred I was.
Look at my face right now.
I know. You're about to cry. Her eyes are literally tearing up. And I threw it away and I've slept so good since.
Don't ever tell me that again.
I know. Thank God I just now remembered it. It's perfect time. Perfect time.
I mean, oh my God.
And does that make you sick?
I need to take.
Can you imagine what the fuck was right behind our wall and right beside me sleeping? Because you know I sleep right beside my closet.
We threw that away.
We threw that away, Morgan.
I know we did.
I remember throwing it away. I remember laughing while we did it.
I need to fill up my drink.
Yeah, fill up the drink.
Excuse me. Oh God.
Oh, you saved it. Sorry, guys. Okay. The bubbles almost overflowed.
I need more though.
Yeah, you do need more. Just angle it on the side. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start with Sage Part 3, and this is a crime account. Oh God. So my crime account that I forgot to do first. So back to my cat story. The farm that I was working on was when I was in college, and on my way there, I would always stop for lunch. One day I had finished classes and stopped by a Subway on my way to the barn. And as I was coming out of the Subway, this guy started to approach me. And before he even approached me, I saw this guy as a red flag as soon as I walked out the door. Sometimes you just know. He had Oh, okay. I thought I said baseball bats. Just kidding. It says oh my God. Okay. He had 2 basketballs in a bag and a golf club. Okay. Even more concerning, a golf club. I still don't know why he had those. But anyways, he comes up to me and I don't really remember anything that he was saying because in my mind, I'm thinking that I don't want to have to kill this guy if he tries to kidnap me, but I will. I come from a military family where self-defense is taught from the time that you can walk. My first self-defense memory was if you're not strong enough, spit in their eyes and put sand in the eyeballs.
Period.
Fucking hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell
Y'all
yeah.
heard that?
Y'all hear that? Write it down. Get it tattooed on your forehead. So I know how to get out of situations like this, but when it happens for the first time to you in real life, you freeze a little bit. Back in the day when this happened, it was probably 2012-ish. I had a car that you needed to physically put the key in the door to unlock it and just wiggle it just right to get it in. And this guy had me cornered between my driver's side mirror and him. So I did the old chicken wing elbow and finally got my car unlocked, pushing him out of the way. I got into my car while he was still talking in this very calm voice, which was absolutely terrifying because obviously he knew what he was doing and that if he raised his voice, it would attract attention. Massive red flag. Why is he so practiced? It gets worse though, because as I speedily drove out of the parking lot, I looked at my mirror and he was following me. So I immediately called police. But if we know anything about that, this is what they said. Well, did he touch you or hurt you in any way? Because I had gut feelings and red flags, they were just not something enough to be worried about when you're in law enforcement, I guess. So they were not useful whatsoever. Remember though, I'm a freshman in college and a baby AOP. Well, obviously I'm not going to drive home, and I actually didn't know where the police station was located. So I just drove to the farm, and he drives past as soon as I went down the driveway. Well, I drive up to the barn, and when I tell you I don't even remember if I put my car in neutral or turned it off, I just let it stall out. I jumped out of the car and ran to the trainer in the middle of the ring, bawling my eyes out on my knees because I knew that I almost had just gotten kidnapped.
Wow.
That's
fucking scary.
That's fucking terrifying.
I hate that.
No, really though, why was he so practiced? I hate that.
Yeah,
forehead chills,
done that before.
boob chills, everything.
Yeah. Nipple chills.
No,
that is really fucking scary.
That is awful.
That. Yeah, no, he's done that before.
Yeah, no.
So this is the last one from Sage. She says, one last story. Not creepy or crimey, but definitely spiritual. As a professional rider and trainer, there are horses that you just have a special connection with. I was lucky to have 2 of them in my career. The unfortunate thing about this career is the motto is to make 1 million start with 1 billion. And I constantly only had about 100. So to fund my upper level career, I sold my young horse who I knew was going to be very important in my life. But to make a name for yourself, you need to be competitive. So my trainer and best friend at the time shared her upper level horse with me, and it was the best thing to ever happen to me. The year that I sold my young horse, she gifted 49% of her horse to me for Christmas.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I have chills.
Fast forward a couple of years to me having an injury, moving home, having major surgery, and getting a phone call that I will never forget on April 21st. That upper level horse had died overnight in his field.
Oh my God.
My soul broke. My soul broke. 2 hours after that tragic phone call, I got a phone call from the woman I sold my young horse to. She obviously had no idea of the tragedy that had just happened. She was calling because with her resource business, she did not have time to ride the horse that I sold her, and she wanted to gift him back to me. No money involved. Oh my God.
I'm gonna cry.
And she would ship him all the way from the East Coast from Florida to New Hampshire, free of charge.
Wow.
That day, I had my biggest connection to the universe I have ever had, and I was silent for most of the day. That horse that was gifted back to me was named Touch of Kismet. And if you guys don't know what Kismet is, it means destiny and luck of life. Anyways, I hope you enjoy my ramblings, and I'm not going to proofread this because if I wait and do that, I will never send it. That's just who I am as a person. I will literally forget that I even did this. I also want to add that as soon as I discovered your podcast, I listened to it almost 24/7 and embarrassed to say how short of a time I went through all of your episodes. I absolutely adore you ladies. And I wish I was still in Kentucky because I would 100% love to come hang out with you guys and talk about all of the shit that goes on in this universe. Hopefully I don't sound like a drunken sailor in these stories. If you have questions, feel free to email me. But I know you guys are super busy, so hopefully you can decipher codes. Love, Sage.
Wow. Okay. The last one made me cry.
That was gorgeous.
I love
the universe.
Oh my God. That was so beautiful.
There is crazy shit going on here, but God, the universe really
sends it back. All the crazy shit that goes on is fully man-made too.
Yeah.
Or caused by man, at least. By men specifically, not the women. We're fine.
No, the universe knew your soul broke and it knew that it needed to be realigned.
Right. And it did it so fast. And how amazing that woman is.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that she literally was like, I love your horse so much that I'm willing to give this back to you.
Because I know you will love it as much as I do.
Mm-hmm. And fuck the money. If it has a loving home, take it.
Wow.
And like even more gorgeous that she knew that you were selling the horse that you love so much for your career and to better your career. And so she was going to like basically donate that money to you to help fund your career.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a beautiful, beautiful
I love
human
that
being.
woman.
I want to cry my eyes out.
I want to meet that woman.
Me too. Oh my God. Okay, well, thank you so much for sending that in, Sage. I loved all of your stories.
I loved them too. That was great.
Thank you so much. Okay, so the next one we have is from Jacob. Hello, my wife is always listening to your guys' podcast, and she ended up getting me into it as well. And I love this so much.
Shout out to your wife.
Shout out to your wife, because I know you're like, oh, you're turning on those girls again in the car, and then you're secretly listening.
You're like, I love this
and
shit.
And then you started being like, hey, can we turn on those two fucking idiot girls? That sounds great.
Our name really should have been Two Fucking Idiots.
I know, right? We just listened to the episode called Creepy Account Volume 14, where you guys were talking about wanting creepy cat stories or creepy animal stories. And I actually have a few for you that led up to me believing that I actually have some possible medium senses. or
Jacob.
I am just more sensitive to the paranormal.
Sorry to your wife. I didn't mean to sound seductive there.
Ooh, Jacob.
Oh, Jacob.
First off, my wife is the one who submitted this story to you guys about the little girl who came home asking for her dad, and it turned out to be a black-eyed kid. I remember this because it scarred the fuck out of me. For me, the first time I witnessed the paranormal was when I was about 10 or 11 years old. I had gotten up in the middle of the night to go get a drink or something. I walked into the kitchen, opened up the fridge, and poured myself a glass of milk. No, Jacob. No, Jacob, don't admit that on here.
Please make it chocolate milk, Jacob.
Make sure it's chocolate, okay?
I hate the word milk.
Logan drinks
I want some milk.
Milk. I hate it. I poured myself
Sorry, Jacob.
a glass of chocolate milk. We're just going to edit that for you. And saw that time was 3 a.m. As I turned to put my glass into the sink, I felt something was watching me at that exact moment. I turned around, and there, under our table, was my father's dead Rottweiler.
No way.
Staring at me with his black eyes and just lying there, panting. I thought I was going crazy at the time. I wiped my eyes, and when I looked again, he was gone.
No way.
Damn, Jacob.
If I saw one of my past dogs, I'd be like, Truby, come on, Gretchen.
Oh my God, you would be in pieces.
That was dope.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Just gone, just disappeared.
He just literally disappeared. He was like, hey, stop drinking milk, and then left.
Yeah, he was there because you were drinking milk.
He was like,
he's like, that shit's not chocolate.
Stop doing that. Stop doing that immediately.
That shit's not chocolate and it's not hot, so put it down.
We're going to get yelled at for being milk haters. Sorry, guys. It's only good in cereal, and no one can deny that. Cereal and coffee.
I'm not even allowed milk. I'm allergic, but I do like it in cereal. And yes, I do push my boundaries.
Yeah.
Mind your business.
Mind your business.
Okay, the next one is also from Jacob, part 2. My friend and I were watching TV super late at night, around 3 a.m. again. You and the witching hour, my friend.
Oh my God. You and the milk at the witching hour. Stop.
You, the milk, and the witching hour equals no bueno. So just put it down.
Jacob, stop.
When we weren't supposed to and everyone was asleep but us. We began talking about ghosts because I had told him about seeing my dad's dead Rottweiler when I was younger. In our family room, we had a lot of stuffed animals on the wall, and one of the animal mounts was the head of a bear. Okay, are you in my basement right now?
Are you with Bucky?
That I currently have in my wife and I's home by my bar. We began talking about how funny it would be if the bear mount were to just jump off the wall because of all the ghosts that live in my house. And I shit you not even a second later, the bear mount jumped off the wall and into the middle of the room, making a loud bang.
No. The way I literally would have left the house with my milk.
I'll finish the story first and then I'll tell you. My friend and I were stunned and didn't know what to do. We were too afraid to move. My father came in and saw the bear mount in the middle of the room and asked what had happened. If my dad saw that, he'd be like, who the fuck did that shit? When we told him the story, he brushed it off and angrily told us to go to bed and blamed us for the bear mount falling off the wall, saying that we must have been jumping around.
Yeah,
but
Dad.
We were just sitting on the couch. I inspected the bear mount the next day, and there was no natural reason for why the bear would have landed 5 feet away from the wall where it hung. Paranormal 3 and 4 happened the next day. In the morning, my friend and I were letting my dog outside the back of the house before heading to church. And I always have to deadbolt the door or else the dog will jump up, grab the handle, and open the door. After locking the door, I yanked on the handle to make sure that it was locked. But as we began to walk away from the door, I looked at my friend and said, wouldn't it be funny if all of a sudden the door opened and the dog just walked right in? Okay, you've got to stop saying stuff. Once again, a second after finishing that sentence, my dog walks by like nothing happened. My friend and I turned around and the door was wide open.
Oh my God.
And the deadbolt was still sticking out. Like it was locked.
Shut the fuck up.
Once again, after inspection, there was no logical reason for it to open. And I even tried to open it after locking it again and I couldn't. Later that night, I had a bonfire and invited a bunch of my friends over. I was telling them about these crazy events that have happened in my life and they just laughed about it. I got up sometime later in the night to get something to drink from inside my parents' house, and my friends thought it would be funny to hide in the tall grass, jump out, and scare me as I walked back to the fire.
No friends.
Fuck your friends. As I started walking back to the fire, I heard screaming and my friends running to the house saying, there's something in the field.
Oh my God.
I ran to the fire pit to see what it was, and there, jumping through the tall grass, was a white, fluffy mist. I then see the mist walk out of the tall grass.
What?
And clearly saw that it was my mother's dead dog who had given birth to my current dog at the time. I blinked and the fluffy white ball of mist disappeared. I have a lot more stories since I was young, and maybe I will share those another time. But thank you so much for taking time to read this. Y'all are amazing, and thank you for all the creeps and the crimes.
Jacob. Sorry we railed you about the fucking milk, my guy.
Yeah, I know, we're rude as fuck.
Yeah, that was awful.
Ooh, we love that you drink milk.
Yeah, we love that you're a milk drinker.
But also, like, could you stop being like, wouldn't it be funny if this happened? Because, bro, obviously you're putting something out. You're manifesting it. Quit manifesting.
You have spiritual gifts.
Yeah,
you
do. But like you have like this, like either like you're seeing it in your head, like before you. I want to say the word subconsciously again, but like you're probably seeing it in your head prior to you saying that, and you're like, dude, wouldn't it be funny if this fucking guy with the chainsaw came rushing out of the tall grass during the bonfire, and then he does.
And you're like, what the fuck?
And you're like, what the fuck? No, but like that's so crazy that everything you said like was coming into existence.
No, that's wild.
That's nuts.
And Jacob, I need the rest of your stories because I mean, what the fuck else did you manifest? I've truly got to know.
Yeah, because I know there's more stories of wouldn't it be funny?
Wouldn't it be funny?
That might go on merch, Jacob.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny?
Wouldn't it be funny by Jacob? And there's a glass of milk beside it.
Wouldn't it be funny? No, we love you. We love that.
No, Jacob, I love it.
But Jacob, fun fact. So my dad does taxidermy on the side, and my basement is like this L shape, and along the walls, I kid you not, there's not a split inch on those walls that isn't covered in animal heads. I'm talking deer, I'm talking bass fish, mountain cats,
wow.
Moose, elk, bears.
Serious.
And like he does them all himself, and it's lines the walls. Like I'm talking, we probably have 45 deer heads down there. And when we were kids, the basement was the scariest thing for me.
Oh,
like,
fuck yeah.
Animal heads like that, they're really terrifying. And we would go down there because that's where like the stereo was with like the what's it called?
The boom box.
The boom box and you put your disc on. What the record player?
Oh,
good
I
God.
was like, what the fuck?
The record, and we would just dance to Shania Twain down there all the time.
Yeah.
But like it was always so terrifying because I was like, the animal heads are looking at me. Like,
oh my God.
But also again, if my dad saw one of his precious animal heads laying in the middle of the floor at 3 a.m. with me and my friend down there, he'd be like, who in the fuck did that shit?
Yeah.
Ho! That's what he always says. Ho! Who the fuck did that? Like it would be bad. It would be bad for me. And I'd be like, sorry, I was getting a glass of milk. But wouldn't it be funny if it jumped off the wall by itself?
Hey, Dad, wouldn't it be funny if while you're standing here, all of the rest fell off the wall? Oh my God. You'd be dodging for your life. Are you kidding?
Damn. All right.
That'd
Sorry
be whack.
for like kind of going at you, but
Jacob,
your stories are great.
No, but I have to tell you, Jacob, I am so thankful that we now have another male listener.
I know. We got Seth and Jacob.
Yeah, we know about you. We got Seth and Jacob. And I think we have one more that wrote in a creepy account a long, long time ago. Connor. My God. Our boys.
Our boys.
The trio. The trio. The milk drinkers. Seth, do you drink milk?
So wouldn't it be funny if you guys all met at a live show?
Wouldn't it be funny if you guys all showed up with a gallon of milk?
At the live show?
At the live show?
Oh, shit.
But you have to bring cereal if you're bringing milk, or it has to be chocolate. Okay.
Fruit Loops, please.
Fruit Loops, please. The next one is from Maggie, and it says, my not so creepy cat story. Hi, ladies. I know this isn't a creepy cat story, but I hope it still works for the October creepy cat accounts. About a month ago, I was going through a pretty rough time. I felt like nothing was going right for me, and I was so mentally drained. With every new issue that came up, I would ask my spirit guides for some sort of break or something good that would give me a little bit of happiness. Fast forward to my birthday, I had just come home, and as I was walking up to my front door, I noticed an orange cat taking a fat nap on my porch. As I got closer, he slowly got up.
Fat shit.
Taking a fat fucking shit on my porch. As I got closer, he slowly got up and moved just a few feet away to my flower bed and laid back down. This isn't the first time that I have seen this cat. He's actually a stray that just hangs out in my neighborhood, but every time we have crossed paths before this, he would just run off. And I, not being a cat person at all, would just ignore that he was even there. I don't know what was so different about this time, but I felt so drawn to this cat. So I went over there where he was laying and I scooped him up. Long story short, I now have a cat who follows me around everywhere I go. I named him Leo since I found him on my birthday. I am a Leo, and he's orange like a lion.
Oh.
I don't know if he truly was a gift from my spirit guides or if I was just so desperate for something good that I convinced myself he was. But I thought it'd be a fun story that you girls might enjoy. Anyways, I love the podcast. Keep up the great work, and I promise I'll be sending in my lifetime's worth of actual creepy accounts in soon. Okay.
That was sent from the
That
spirit
was
guides.
absolutely amazing. And I have to tell you that it was sent from your spirit guides.
Oh, yeah.
Leo was absolutely sent from your spirit guides. Thank you so much for sending that in.
Yeah, that was gorgeous.
Really, really awesome story.
Okay, so the next one is from Madonna using pronouns she, her. She says, you can use my name. Thank you. I didn't need to read that. Anyway. Hi, Taylor. Hi, Morgan. First of all, I just wanted to start by saying I just had to pull over while listening to Creepy Accounts Volume 14 to start this story so I wouldn't forget. Y'all are my absolute favorites. Honestly, when I tell friends about your podcast, I describe y'all like you're my girlies because you are. Sorry, not sorry. And we are Madonna. Like we
Madonna.
are.
And first off, Madonna, fucking love your name.
Love your name. Bitch.
Iconic.
She says, I think I started listening to y'all a year and a half ago. I just absolutely love your banter, your side stories, and that it feels like I'm hanging out with my besties. I legit talk back to you guys while listening. Also, my husband has told me numerous times I need to stop with the creepy and crimey podcast because I spook so easily. Seriously, a few nights ago, I screamed bloody murder at the poor UPS man because he knocked to drop off a package and it was dark and I couldn't see. My husband made a fair point that if he was coming to get me, A, he wouldn't knock, and B, after 5 minutes of me talking about how I was going to be on a podcast, he'd bring me right back. Anyways, on to my black cat, not that creepy account. Okay, so to preface the story, I've always deemed myself a crazy cat lady. I have always had a cat for as long as I can remember, at most points, multiples. Honestly, I would have 12 cats if I could, but my husband would probably divorce me. We got Luigi, my black kitty cat, when I was in the 8th or 9th grade, so we're talking 2003-ish. And originally, he was my brother Mario's cat. Yes, my brother Mario named his cat Luigi.
That is iconic.
But at the time, he was in the Navy and couldn't take care of him when he went on deployment or something. So then my mom and we took him in. Luigi was my little bestie, and he was always at the foot of my bed or perched above my head. Eventually, I left for college, and I didn't get to take Luigi with me. But occasionally, I would actually steal him from my mom and take him back to school, keeping them for a week or two when I knew I was coming back home again soon. Eventually, I got another cat who lived with me at school. Her name was Izzy. She and Luigi became inseparable, so my mom had no choice but to let me have Luigi after I graduated college. So here I was with 2 kitty cats, my 2 best friends. Unfortunately, Izzy got very ill when she was just 6 years old. I took her to the vet when she suddenly lost a lot of weight and found out that she had liver failure. Within a week, we had lost her. Oh, I'm sorry. One day I left with her in my pink kennel and she never came back, so I knew Luigi was depressed. Izzy was his best friend. A couple of weeks after she left us, I went to the pet store just to see the other kitties. While I was there, another kitty who looked just like Izzy popped up to greet me. When I had adopted Izzy, she had climbed up my pant leg and cocked her head at me. And this kitty climbed up the side of my kennel and did the same head cock. I remember asking them if I could hold her, and they told me only if I intended to adopt. Not a second went by, and I looked this lady dead in the eye and said, I'm taking this cat home with me.
Right, but like, where are you? A cat prison?
Yeah, why would they say that? Like, you can only touch her.
They normally have like greeting rooms.
I adopted that cat that day, and we named her Kalua. When I brought her home in Izzy's pink kennel, Luigi was instantly enamored with her. I've never seen 2 cats get along instantaneously like this.
Never.
I'm talking they cuddled, they played, there was no hissing, no growling, nothing. They were best friends. Luigi acted like she was Izzy, but at the same time knew she wasn't. And this little baby acted just like Izzy. I truly believe that she was Izzy reincarnated, that Izzy had sent her to me because I didn't have enough time with her. When all of this went on with Izzy's passing and adopting Kalua, I had just started dating my husband. This was in 2017. In August 2019, I had an ovarian cyst rupture, and I was told that I may not be able to get pregnant naturally. It was to the point that my doctor gave me resources for IVF and even adoption. My husband, fiance at the time, and I discussed our options. We were okay with the fact that we may have to adopt, as I have a sister who was adopted and we recently reconnected with her.
Wow.
That's another beautiful story.
Oh my God.
We knew that things would be okay if we couldn't create our own child, but still we wanted our own. We ultimately just together decided that we wouldn't put a lot of pressure on it. We got married in October of 2021, congratulations, and took a late honeymoon in March 2022. We went to St. Thomas and had the absolute best time. About a month after we returned, our sweet old, almost 20-year-old Luigi had passed away. Our sweet boy had a good life. He knew he was loved. And the last few months were spent with endless cuddles. Any food he wanted and snuggles with his best friend Kahlua and Finley, 3-year-old German Shepherd dog. My man lived like a king. I was devastated that my little black bean had passed away, but I knew that we would be okay. 2 days after we buried him in our backyard, we took a pregnancy test because I was extremely late. Remember, we had thought that we would have a very difficult experience creating a child. So even when I was late, I didn't think anything of it. Also because we really weren't trying. We weren't preventing, but we weren't trying. That test was positive. Now I'm almost 7 months pregnant and due with my little baby Bean in December. Luigi's buried right outside our new nursery window, and we'll tell our sweet baby Hayden Fisher all about our sweet black bean. We still have 2 kitties, Kahlua, who was absolutely devastated when Luigi passed, but knew something else was brewing, as she has been by my side and on my lap, and more cuddly than normal since he passed and we found out I was pregnant. And Jimmy, who was my late grandpa's psycho, demonic, crazy asshole cat from hell. He was only nice to Grandpa until suddenly after Luigi passed and I found out I was pregnant, he turned into the sweetest, most cuddly, gentle, well, kind of for him, kitty. It's like Luigi told him, "You better take care of my mom or I'll haunt you from my grave." One day we'll get another little black bean kitty because black cats are absolutely 100,000% the best type of kitty out there. Actually, all kitties are created equal, and I love them all. And I wish I could have them in every color, but my husband would, again, divorce me. I hope you enjoy my kitty account and have the best burr months this season. Burr months are by far my favorite, especially spooky season. Love you, besties.
And she also sent a bunch of pictures of her kitties, which I'll show you here in a minute.
Yeah.
So when I read this, I'm sobbing right now, but I read it all the way through. And I did not want Morgan to see it until she read it on air. And when I was reading it, I was sobbing so hard. I'm sobbing currently.
Send me a picture.
Yeah, I sent a picture of me sobbing. And then I went to go look at the pictures of the kitty cats and they wouldn't download. So I found Madonna on social media and I messaged her and I sent her the picture of me sobbing. And I was like, I have to tell you, first off, your story fucked me up. And second, I'm just so happy for you. And I can't stop crying. And she sends me a picture back of her sobbing in her car.
And post it on her story.
Yeah,
right?
And post it on her story. You guys got to see it. And I love that story so much from a cat lady myself. But like also I love that Luigi sent you
a baby. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. I can't even make it through the word.
That's a gorgeous story.
That was a beautiful story, Madonna. Thank you so much for sending that in. I absolutely loved it. So that was technically our last story, but I wanted to take a second to thank you guys all so much for sending these in and sharing your lives with us. It's such a beautiful way for us to get to know you all. And we're just so touched that you are just as connected with us as we are with you to share these moments with us. But for the next month and a possible bonus something for Spooky Day, I wanted you guys to send in the wildest, spookiest stories that you have. Cats, creepy, crimey, universal messages, glitches, aliens, crazy family drama, just some wild ash shit. All right? I'm talking like wild the fuck out in our inbox.
Do it.
And before we go,
Don't make us tell you again.
Don't make us tell you again. I want it to be absolutely a scandal in there. But before we go, we have one more thing that we wanted to read because it was just so important like we discussed in a few of these stories to keep each other safe. And ultimately, that is what we are here to do. And this is a safe space to share love and advice with others. So after I read this, I decided that I wanted to put it on here. And I want you guys to discuss this in our Facebook groups so it can be seen by everybody that listens to us. So this is actually from Jordan with she, her pronouns. Hi, Taylor and Morgan. I discovered your podcast a few months ago, and I have been binge listening to the both of you guys all day, every day. Since I work from home as a graphic designer, I have been a loyal, creepy, crimey podcast listener for years now. And I have to say, your podcast surpasses any I've ever come across thus far. I'll admit, I have pretty severe ADHD. Taylor, I know you, literally I can't read it. I feel like you know what I mean. Absolutely. And I need something to play in my AirPods while I work. Your podcast is a part of my daily routine and keeps me focused. I'm a newly single mom, and when I moved out of my family home with my son, I moved into the first clean and affordable place that I could find. The place itself is great, but the outside and the area around it is a bit crimey. Now, I definitely have some horrifying dating stories that I can share with you guys eventually since I put myself back on the market. I'm not sure if that falls under the category of the stories that you cover, though. Yes, it does. Send it in, babe.
Send it.
Literally, if it helps others too, like, we love the drama, and let's be real. Like, okay?
We love the drama.
But through those horrifying experiences, in conjunction with where I live, I was finding myself trying to search for go-to self-defense items that I can have with me on dates, when I walk my dog, or when I'm at home alone. I posted in a single mother's group for advice that's local, but I thought maybe you guys could take a poll or something, or do some digging for the best ways to protect yourself as a woman these days. Honestly, I can't believe how rough it is out there. I would just feel so much better if I had some protection. I thought I'd give this a shot. Stay creepy, ladies. Best, Jordan. So I wrote out some response for you, but the most of this is going to be discussion, because I wanted to make sure that we hit every piece of this for you guys. But I think it really depends on what you're comfortable with. Some people have firearms on them, and though we are not big gun girls, we recently went to a very high crime area with a lot of craziness going on at that exact time. And we kept a gun in the car with us at all times out of fear that we would be put into an awful situation, which again was in part to the location of where we were. Now, were we more scared of using the gun than we were what was going on around us?
No, guys, we pulled up to this Target, and
someone had gotten abducted in this Target
like 2 days prior.
Yes.
Like, got abducted right out of their car.
Yep.
And we pull up to the Target, and we're like, you know, like, we should take the gun in. And Taylor's like, yeah,
that's right.
That's right.
Put it in your purse.
Take the gun in. Put it in your purse. And I'm like, okay,
good deal.
So I empty out my entire purse.
Don't say.
And we put the gun in.
We're about to get out of the car.
And we're about to get out of my car, and we look at each other, and we're like, what the fuck are we doing?
Who are we?
No, who are we? First off, we broke rule number 1. We sat around in our car and dicked around, making us more vulnerable by putting this gun in our purse instead of just getting out, getting what we needed, getting back in the car and leaving. And then we're sitting there the purse was so heavy. I felt fucking crazy. I felt dirty.
Before we took it out,
and
the
like,
question was,
like,
can you see that it's in here?
Both of our boys, like, they carry. Like, they do. They constantly have their gun on them. And so, like, it doesn't, like, freak me out when Aaron has it, but, like, if I was, like, it was, like,
we would
scary.
trip and fall. It would just not be a good situation.
And, like, yeah, I know. I just don't, it's not that I hate guns. I just don't trust myself.
Right. I don't trust the people that have them for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know who you are.
And I feel like that's okay to, like, have that open confidence that I don't trust myself with.
Right.
I'm
totally
the clumsiest fucking person in the world. The fact that this outfit doesn't have a stain on it today is a miracle.
A miracle.
Also because we didn't eat, but also because I don't know. It's a miracle. Literally.
It's a miracle.
Like, I knock things over. I trip. I fall. Like, I'm the clumsiest bitch you'll ever meet in your life. So for me to not be comfortable with a gun, like, it's okay to admit that.
It's okay to admit that.
And it's not like other forms of defense.
Right. And it's not like that we're uneducated or untrained on how to use it.
Right. We totally are educated.
We totally are educated. We know how to use it. We've practiced before.
My father has 50 deer heads.
Exactly.
You can imagine that I'm educated in guns.
Right. We've both grown up around these weapons. We know how to properly carry them, despite the fact that we don't typically ever do.
Even toy guns, my parents, my father was like, you do not point that at somebody.
Yes, even if it had the orange tip on it and I got it from Cracker Barrel.
A BB gun, he was like, point that down. He's like, he would scream at us. Like, it was not a joke. Like,
exactly.
We were well educated in gun safety.
Right. And like, even like doing target practice, like, we know how to fire if we ever needed to, but that is only if I ever had to. Like, my life was in imminent danger.
And even then I'd still hesitate.
Oh my God, I would hesitate. I would be I'm such a talker. I'm not a walker. Like, I would literally freak.
But I would do it if I had
to. And exactly what you're saying. It's okay to admit that you're not comfortable with one, and it's okay to not carry one. Not everyone is comfortable with them. We are two of those, like, people. So some don't even feel comfortable carrying a taser with them. But in my opinion, that is really a great alternative to have outside of a fire gun. It's not life-threatening for you or your attacker. And in most cases, that is at least. However, just like firearms, it's just as important to properly know how to use them and be trained on how to use them for many reasons. But also keeping in mind the fact that if you don't know how to handle it properly, you could harm yourself or it could be turned against you, which is the same for every weapon. But specifically, you don't want a taser turned on you.
Right.
Because
that shit hurts.
And it's like, you know, it knocks you down for a sec, you know? Therefore, in any case, I would 100% recommend, no matter what it is, you taking a self-defense class near you. I personally always carry pepper spray on me, and I always have a knife either on me or in my car. Maureen, what do you use?
Pepper spray. I have pepper spray in my car. I actually have 2 in my car, and I also have a little pocket knife.
Right.
I would like a taser, though.
I would like a taser. I would really like a taser.
Like a nice one with a good safety, like, you know.
Right. But again, without being properly trained on how to use them, and talking about both pepper spray or a knife, it could be turned against you. And that's why like taking self-defense classes and training is imperative. So if you're not interested in carrying any weapons on you, there are many other forms of protection that you could keep on you.
And self-defense classes are usually A, free, or B, very cheap.
Very cheap.
Yeah.
Like a donation for a lot of them.
Your phone just died.
Oh, that's fine. But if you're not interested in carrying weapons, you can always keep another form of protection on you, such as birdies or Invisa bracelets that have signals that you can call for help, and location services that are very indiscreet, specifically about the Invisaware, I think is what they're called, or Invisa bracelets. But either way, keep something on you at all times. It's scary for everyone, but for women, it's dangerous. It's not fair. It's not right, but it's reality. So it's best that we become prepared and educated in all of the ways. Also, run background checks. I have been using Been Verified. It's about $27 a month, and you can run extensive background checks on anyone. I'm talking, you can search by their name, their address, their phone number, their email, their social media accounts, their friends. That's how extensive this is. You would not believe how many searches I have done and how helpful it has been for us. So please go onto our Facebook group and share how you protect yourself, or any like recommendations or important things that you think need to be had in this discussion.
Yeah, let's get this discussion rolling because it's important.
It's so important, and that's
especially
ultimately
today.
What we're here for.
Yeah.
You know, so we love you guys. I'm ready to wrap up. If you are.
Okay. Well, we will see you this Thursday.
We'll see you this Thursday. Happy season 3.
Happy season 3. We love you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you guys for everybody who sent in their creepy accounts. We love them. You know, we love our creepy accounts.
Love this creepy
it's our
account.
favorites.
I loved it.
So thank you guys. Love you guys so much. And happy season motherfucking 3, bitch.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.